What's up, Firestormers? Welcome to another educational series. Today we are going to be talking about bonding and rapport, building relationships, building trust, helping people understand what you do and getting them to like you and to want to do business with you, and just how do you approach that whole thing. So hopefully you guys all have heard of Rapport before. It's one of these things that's a little esoteric. You know, what does that mean? How do you define it? And definitely, how do you go about building it? How do you go about acquiring it? So we're going to talk about that today and figure out exactly what it is that you need to do. So the first thing we're going to talk about is finding common ground. So who do you know, like, and trust more than anybody else in the world? And no, not your mom. Great answer, though. Yourself. You know, like, and trust yourself more than anybody. So when you're having a conversation, when you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, try and find some common ground. Find things that you guys share, you know, groups that you're part of, schools that you went to, backgrounds, hobbies, you know, things that you have in common in business. It's, you know, important to find that common ground and to kind of have a conversation around that, and that's a good starter. And then keep that conversation going, because again, people want to be around people that are like themselves. And don't, however, lie to pretend that you have things in common, because that's just not ever going to work out well for anybody involved. So find some common ground first thing. All right, the second thing is ask questions and actually listen to the answers. That's a novel idea, I know. But a lot of times when people ask questions, they're listening to respond. They're figuring out what can I, you know, add on to this, or, you know, worst case scenario, they're listening and then they're going to one up the person, and they're going to say, you know, oh, that's great. Have I got a story for you? And then just totally trounce on that person's, you know, cool story. So if you're trying to build a relationship, don't do that. And the third thing is be interested versus interesting. And I'm sure you guys have heard this before. It might be a little, you know, cutesy or cliche or whatever. But the thing is that, you know, take an interest in other people. You know, people, you've heard that saying, people don't know how much, or don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You know, take an interest in them, listen to what they're saying, and really kind of dig in and continue to ask questions. And, you know, I have a problem a lot of times because I love to hear the sound of my own voice, and I've got some pretty epic stories. So I can kind of run on and on and on. But that's not really a good thing for building relationships. I promise you, if you're patient and you wait it out and you take an interest in the other person, they're always going to ask you to contribute to the conversation, and you'll get a chance to tell your cool stories later. So be interested versus interesting. The fourth thing is be authentic. I know this one is approaching that, you know, cliche status where in the 90s you had like think outside the box, and that was kind of crazy and everybody was using it and it just lost all its meaning. But, you know, being authentic is one of those things that I think is super important. And, you know, I don't know that there's a definition that I can give you that's a good hard and fast rule. I can only tell you what it means to me and how I use it in my approaches with people. But I'm going to be true to my core values in everything that I do. I'm going to let my drive and my positivity and my personality show through in all that I do. You know, I'm true to my core values. That's what it means to me. I'm not going to lie to gain business. It doesn't mean that you don't, you know, act courageous in the face of adversity and, you know, uncertainty. It doesn't mean that you don't take a job or take a promotion or, you know, do something that's outside of your comfort zone. It doesn't mean that you know, say, I'm scared and so I'm not going to get up in front of this big crowd and give a speech. You do those things even though it might be uncomfortable for you because you need to grow and you need to expand. But it, you know, being authentic is it's being true to yourself. So there's actually a great article called The Authenticity Paradox. It's in the Harvard Business Review, and I'll put a link in the description below so you can check out that article. It goes into a lot more detail. All right, and the fifth thing is be honest. Obviously, if you're going to build a long-term relationship and we're looking to, you know, gain trust with people, you can't build that on a foundational lies. So there's nothing wrong if somebody asks you a question with saying, you know what, I don't know, but I'll find the answer for you. People don't really care, at least important people don't care, about how much money you make or your status in the company or whatever. All they care about is that you're going to work hard, you're trustworthy, you're going to go to bat for them, you're going to take care of them as a customer or a client. That's what's really important. So, be honest with people. And again, there's you don't have to go overboard and tell people that there's something that they wrote on LinkedIn that you don't really like, and you have to be honest with them. You can leave stuff like that out. But if they ask you a question, don't lie. And if you're if you're younger or if you're new in your profession and somebody asks you how long you've been in your career or how long you've been in your industry, it's okay to say, I'm brand new to this. I'm just starting out. I would love for some input from you. How am I doing? What are some things I could do better? Don't say, oh, I've been in it forever. Nobody wants to hear that, and it's it screams BS right away. And a 5.5 point, you might ask why the half? Don't be a dick. This seems pretty obvious, but I am amazed at how many times I go out to an event and I see people that just feel like they need to assert their superiority over another person, and whether that's intellectual superiority or financial superiority or the position that they have in their job, or whether their sports franchise is the best franchise in history, and all kinds of craziness like that. You don't need to talk down to other people in order to make yourself feel better, and that's definitely a no-no if you're trying to build a long-term trusting relationship. So if you're doing that, stop doing it. So that's what I got for you. Find common ground, ask questions, and actually listen to the answers, not just listen to respond. Be interested versus interesting. Be authentic, be honest, and don't be a dick. And if you have any questions, hit us in the comments, or subscribe to our channel. Check out all the other educational stuff. You can always drop us an email and find us online. Come visit an event. We'd love to meet you guys in person, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Cheers.